And we are live. This is Tracking the Tropics segment for USA Severe Weather Network, USA Storm Watch, Illinois Storm Watch, and Texas 13. Today is August 18th, 2020, and we will be talking about the latest new tropical developments. And we're going to take a look at 98L. I'm going to pull up first some new information about Hurricane Genevieve, which is an ongoing storm just off of Baja California. And again, you can see how there's that well-defined eye. There's a lot of symmetry within there, so this is still intensifying a little bit near the center there. So, I mean, this is already a Category 4 storm. Continues to be very healthy. And I mean, especially near the center, we have spiraling downdrafts. So, I mean, there's definitely some strong winds occurring, heavy rain, and we also do have some what looks like tropical storm force conditions that will be threatening Baja California. We also got hurricane watches, if I'm correct, what Jonathan said earlier, across Baja as well. And we're going to take a very close look at these two systems out here in the Atlantic. Obviously, this one has a 30% chance of developing in 48 hours, but this one has a 70% chance of developing within 5 days. This one is going to be developing right off the bat. So, I mean, within 24 hours, this may become a named storm right here. So, Disturbance 2 may be named Laura before this one is named Marco. So it depends on how that order comes along. And looks like we lost Jonathan there. So yeah, we're gonna look here at 98L. Obviously, this is the system that is supposed to develop within 48 hours. We can see that there is some shear that is increasing within that. We can see like right around here. I mean, there could be a developing circulation. Again, this is off of Africa, and this is expected to reach the looks like the Lesser Antilles and other central and western portions in the Atlantic here, and it will develop, and this system over here, what could become Marco, it's expected to track towards the area south of Cuba near Yucatan Peninsula,
right.
And might track towards the United States. And these systems are expected to be in closer proximity to each other. So,
and let me explain that to you. I know you all have seen a lot of hype online about these two having a Fajar effect. Here you can see the current systems. We got Genevieve, Cat 4 hurricane. We have Atlantic disturbance number 1, which could become Marco. And there's a reason why. I know it's the first disturbance, but you're asking how come this is becoming Marco instead of Laura? Well, first, this is going to develop later into a system. Why this will probably get a name first, because you can see the percentages is higher on disturbance 2 than disturbance 1. And I'm going to move over here to show you the current satellite. And that's Genevieve. This is disturbance 1. That's disturbance 2. Disturbance 2. Now, let me explain this. You can see the latitude number, 60° west, 50° west. And I have a better look at it over here on the Hurricane Center saying, so you can see there's that one, there's that one. But as Isaac just said, closer proximity to each other. These are only 10 degrees off from each other in terms of the main centers of circulation. So yeah, these are something we're going to have to focus on. And in terms of what he's talking about tracking toward the U.S., this is the brand new GFS. Previously, it was looking as if yesterday when we did the show, it was looking at it come through Louisiana, go through Arkansas, up toward Missouri and Kansas. Missouri and Illinois. So here's what we have. This is just a normal GFS going through, and this is what is going on. Just scattered rain in between now and Sunday across most of this region. But then you start to see some of those bands off the coast here. Now, we're going to continue to take these with a grain of salt because we're like a week away from Sunday. But you can see some of those bands coming in. This is going to be from the system, whatever, which one, I think, whichever one we get, whether it's Laura or Marco. But Laura's farther back east, so I would think this would be Marco. So you can see the rain, and it looks like the center circulation now of this system brings it toward the Texas coast, same areas that got hit by Hannah here last month, same areas that got hit by Hannah last month. And then that just falls apart as it moves west toward Mexico. That's the center circulation of it. So it moves west, falls apart near Mexico, and the original model data was moving it north. So it looks like, I'm telling you, the models keep changing, and then there's going to be a front moves through and possibly some more development down here later as we go towards September the 3rd. But the main system is this, both of these to watch. This one here is a tropical wave over the Eastern Caribbean Sea, continues to produce an area of disorganized. What does that mean? Meaning the storm is not got its act together. And then you have this area back here has a 90% chance of developing within the next 5 days. Overnight, I'm telling you, things change in 24 hours. I'll send it back to Isaac.
All right, and I'm going to pull up the full screen satellite data here, and I'm going to do the entire Pacific this time, just to get an idea of those two systems there. And yeah, so satellite, I'm going to look at the, one second. Let's do the Atlantic-wide satellite loop, and I'm going to get that screen share back going here. Excuse me there. Yeah, it's still buffering there. Yeah, it kind of looks like, yeah, we can start to see the system. They're similar in latitude, just obviously they're getting closer together in terms of longitude. Yeah, obviously we can see Genevieve on there. Looks like, yeah, it's getting closer to Baja. You know, I don't know the chance of it actually making landfall over or making a landfall, but yeah, here's the full satellite loop. So there's what might become Laura right here. We can see the circulation might be becoming a little bit more well defined within there, and within 12 to maybe up to 24 hours. Obviously, within 48 hours, this has a high chance of developing, and with it could develop ahead of schedule. We don't know yet, but yeah, it looks like it's entering a more favorable environment. Looks like yeah, we've had a little bit of circulation embedded within there. Obviously, it's not named yet, but that will likely change here over the next day or two. And then here's the disturbance 1 down here, the Invest 97W. And obviously, it looks as if, it's this whole system altogether just north of the equator, or no, that's the 10 degrees north line, or I would say, yeah, that's Colombia. So we can see that as this is off of Colombia, south of Puerto Rico, and whatnot. I mean, so we can see the outer bands of areas closer to Genevieve there, and looks like this low-level moisture down around here. I mean, the environment this is heading towards in this trough, or stuff that's developing out in this area, as it dips down, it'll likely affect the track of the system. And if it merges, or rather, I should say, as this develops, I mean, it will likely take a turn towards the Yucatan and maybe towards the Gulf. But I mean, this system will be moving a lot slower, inferably, than this system, because they're likely to be in closer proximity to each other. So what this system is likely to do is, I've looked at the latest ensembles. What it might do is, as it trails the Windward Islands and such, I mean, it may be closer. It will likely be near the Gulf, but some ensembles have this impacting areas around Florida, maybe, and some models take it up the East Coast. We'll just have to take these things with a grain of salt, like what we said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we have more than one wave on this jet along this the mid and upper levels there. So I mean, whether this will likely impact the track of these disturbances overall. Yeah, it is and I'll show you guys the preliminary intensity guidance once I get that pulled up. Kind of get us an idea of where we might be headed in terms of intensity. And obviously, we want to be paying closer attention to, let's take a look at 98L, because that is likely to develop first. And obviously, this is the system out in the closer to Africa. And yeah, this is the system that will likely be LoRa. It gives us a track. It may bring us closer into Florida on this one, and I'm going to get 97L, which this system, I'm actually going to open 98L and or 97L, and let's get some ensembles loaded on here. We can see that this system, we don't know how long it's going to hold together, but it is likely that this low pressure system, obviously within 24 hours, we're going to be at 1,008 millibars. This will likely take it towards the west and central Gulf Coast, or the west central western part of the Gulf of Mexico. And obviously within 144 hours, we'll have to see what happens with this track, see if there's if any waves from the mid and upper altitudes across the mainland.
The millibars up there, does it say 878? Does it say 878 millibars as it's up there in the Gulf?
I'm not seeing 800 millibars or anything on here. Obviously,
that's what they're saying.
That would be well underdone.
Mm-hmm. But you can see on that all the tracks are like together. They're agreeing that it's going to go somewhat west, and then it's just going to turn off the coast. So a lot of models agree on there. So it's a possibility for that to happen.
Yeah, and I'm also going to take a look at intensity guidance. Obviously, 97L looks like we have confidence of becoming a tropical storm. So, and obviously, this is looking at as soon as like 36 hours from now, we'll likely see this become Marco, if I'm right. And obviously, the consensus is
it all depends. It all depends, Isaac. If the one off the coast of Africa develops first, that'll be lower. But if that one, 97L, develops first, that'll be lower, and then the other one will be Marco.
Yeah, right. And we're just inferring based off what is likely.
Exactly.
And I'm going to pull up the 98L and compare these two. We can see the rate of intensification. We want to pay attention to the rate, not specifically what part of the wind speed ladder this is going to be on at a certain point in time. See the rate of development. It's looks like it's stable, and then it starts to rise with 97L, especially between 24 and 36 hours. So it may lead us to say we may see something develop out of this, maybe as soon as the earlier part of specifically 24-hour. But obviously, consensus is within 48 hours or so, we'll have a medium chance of seeing, just based off what this is saying, that's a medium chance of developing. But within 5 days, we're likely to see a tropical storm out of 97L. But obviously, this system, 98L, has a 70% chance of developing within 48 hours. So, like, we can see by 48 hours, a lot of us are at tropical storm force, and we have that shot of becoming a hurricane as well. Obviously, this is 96 hours. So, if I'm right, that would be 4 days from now. So, obviously the rate of intensification is what I'm paying attention to, not the wind speed, whatever the latter is. But we can see
Exactly.
the rate of intensification, it's going up. So, I mean, it is possible we may see something named out of this within 24 hours. So we may have less than a
Yeah,
day before something gets named out of here. We never really know. But again,
that's right,
it
Isaac.
continues to go
We're
up
going to
all the
reply.
way to 84 hours or 72 hours.
Right.
All right.
This
We
is
got somebody
this
sent
is
a
something
message.
here from one of the viewers. They're saying 98L will form first, more conducive environment. Also around about Monday, there will be a high pressure over Texas, which is true because by Monday, it all
Mm-hmm.
depends because that high pressure over the Southwest will move back over the Central Plains, and um, it all depends on what that high pressure would do because the high pressure will help steer this particular storm. And you just showed us the models on 97 L that it tried to come across the Texas coast. The GFS model even shows it going across the Texas coast. But that's going to be hard to believe with that high pressure, that heat dome coming back over the state of Texas. So that'll probably shut off anything that the GFS model is detecting. And high pressure on the right side of Florida. So they're both capable of getting into the Gulf of Mexico, which
Yes, I did.
Chad, it's a possibility, but we can't likely say it,
Yep.
right, Isaac?
Yeah, sure. And
Yep.
there's another question. Obviously, that's about storms in Illinois. Obviously, I'm going to pull up that satellite again just to make some last minute comments about all that. So, yeah, we have this wave out here. Obviously, this may some points around here. We have that high pressure in Texas. Obviously, it's evident on satellite. Obviously, with that low pressure, if that high continues to move off towards the Gulf, it'll likely be a sign of where the system may track towards. That's another thing we want to be mindful about. And then, and depending on how fast this trough of low pressure pushes into the Gulf or areas that are closer into some of this more tropical activity, it'll cause maybe some differences in track. It is like just stuff that comes to my mind when I'm interpreting just some of this information on satellite. We have this upper high pressure, and obviously I think the pressure is actually going to be just depending on what's coming out of Mexico here with areas further away from Genevieve there. Obviously, that might cause a little bit of low, maybe a weak low pressure may evolve out of the deep south as well. And again, just with this trough, and that will probably affect how far west some of these systems may track unless we get another like high pressure, because obviously a track may and winds go from low to high. So just really just depends there.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring back up Chad Carver's comment. He's talking about by next week, by the time these two storms get in or try to make their way toward Florida, there will be a particular high pressure there, and then the high pressure off the southwest toward Arizona. The high pressure that's centered in Utah will push itself back toward the southwest, back into parts of north and northwest Texas, keeping them dry. So if there were to be any impacts in Texas from this storm, it'd be far south Texas. And if there were to be any impacts from either two toward Florida, they'll probably be on the far eastern side, meaning they may not get anything. But again, we're going to take everything with a grain of salt. You can keep sending in your comments as well because we will respond to them
How'd you get this
here.
thing off?
We will
Okay.
respond to them as
Okay.
well.
I'm gonna say some stuff here in a minute. I'm gonna say everybody just needs to have their plan right now. Know where to just don't wait on the hurricane to move in. Make sure you have all your. When the hurricane gets very close, I wouldn't do it right now. Just do like Isaac and Jonathan saying it's a little too early to know right now. Just give us a few days and we should know. I mean, I wouldn't go to the store right now. Right, Jonathan? Is it kind of early in it?
Right. That is true.
Right?
And
Mhm.
it's not, the thing is with the United States, we're all concerned about 97 and 98L. But if we look over here, we got Genevieve too. And Genevieve is probably going to impact Baja, maybe far southwestern California. It's a whole possibility. You can see Genevieve here. Let's look at her track. Maximum sustained
Mhm.
winds at 115 knots. And 130 mile an hour winds for us as well for
Yeah.
Genevieve. And she's moving 12 knots to the northwest, which is 14 miles an hour. And Chad, let me go ahead and look at what you just replied. 98AL does need more eyes. But the thing is, on this show, we're not biased. We take our time on each every one of these storms because they all warrant to be watched.
Mhm.
Because we don't know by tomorrow, 97L could be the one that we need to watch. So that's why we need to pay attention to all of these storms. And it's a possibility
Mhm.
that 98L will form faster. And if that happens, it's going to be over water for a longer period, which he's right about that. And the water out there in the Atlantic is very warm because we have an effect coming off of South America that's causing the water to be very warm. I forgot what it's called. But the thing is that we have two high pressure systems that will form. We'll have the heat dome.
Mhm.
We have the heat dome returning back over Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico by next week, meaning that'll
Yep.
shut off any thunderstorm activity. Meaning heat will go up. That'll help. And then you have the
Yep.
steering winds on
Yep.
the outside of the particular high
Mhm.
pressure. And then if we look at this, that high pressure may not be enough to steer the storm. He's right. But the thing is with the high pressure that it's a stronger area of high pressure. If this high pressure can produce Death Valley hitting 125, this high pressure can help
Mhm.
steer this particular tropical storm away from Texas, but it could still hit Alabama, Mississippi. It's a
Yep.
possibility. Maybe even Florida, and maybe it could still hit
It's gonna
Texas.
make a mess.
Yeah, maybe it could still hit Texas regardless of where the particular high pressure is. And this is Genevieve here. Her winds will extend, her tropical storm force winds will extend at least 100 to 200 miles away from her center of circulation. You can see that here. And let's look here at what we are looking at for the arrival of winds in Baja. Let's see. Yeah, Baja's going to get impacted by some of these winds. According to the Weather Service, this is where the hurricane, it's Cat 4 right now. The hurricane force winds will reach Baja by Wednesday, very early Wednesday morning at about 8, and then through Wednesday evening, it will continue through Baja, and parts of Baja won't get done from the hurricane force winds until about Friday morning. So that'll be hurricane force winds of
Okay.
64 knots and above. So anybody within here, you'll get 74 mile an hour or above, or 64,
That's still
64
strong.
knots or above with this particular storm. And before we started the show, Chad, we're so worried about 98L. Chad, we also have to realize COVID-19 is not over. COVID-19,
Yes, it's not.
yeah, COVID-19 is not over. So, with all of this going on, we need to take and
It's
heed
gonna it's
warning.
gonna make a lot of anxiety.
Exactly. We need to take and heed warning early to what these storms could do. Genevieve rapidly intensified overnight, and it looks as if we're going to have possibly, I can't, I'm just going to speak from what I'm looking at from the Hurricane Center. There's a possibility that 98L could intensify anywhere from now through Thursday. That's 2 days from now, Thursday. Anywhere from now to Thursday, we could be watching what could be possibly Laura, and we could be watching that be a tropical storm because Isaac, if you want, you pull that satellite up full screen, and I can talk over it. What we need to watch here is that the thunderstorm activity is starting to get more organized for us down there toward 98L, and that's going to be something we need to watch. You can see it there on
We
the
need to watch.
satellite. The thunderstorm activity starting to get a bit more organized, but the thunderstorm activity on 97L is part of it. The southern part of that system or that low pressure is impacting northern parts of South America. And then just to the west of that, you have another area of storms that is not related to 97L, and that's cutting off the flow for intensification at the moment. But as this is moving west northwest, it's going to have warm water to work with toward Cuba, and then maybe move itself up into the Gulf. And then from then and now, we don't know what it could happen. Isaac pulled
Oh,
up some tracks on 97L showing us the possibility of where this storm could go. But at this point now, we really can't say.
we can't
Yeah,
say
so
it could actually dissipate and be gone.
Exactly. And that's what some
yeah,
of the models are indicating. Before the storm gets into the Gulf, it could just fall apart. And we won't have to worry about that hitting U.S. mainland.
yeah,
But
sure.
the
Yeah.
one back there toward 98, the 98L, that is something that's going to be, like Chad said, that is going to be over water longer, and it uh, could have something longer to do. Could be a stronger storm, a storm that comes through farther and goes through better there. Um,
All right. You said something
Chad
again.
says, I'm from Alabama. I am definitely a guy who enjoys the tropics. They are very unique. Enjoy how y'all take y'all's time on each storm. Thank you, Chad. 97L will continue to get better organized as it reaches the Western Caribbean. From there, it's uncertainty. Isaac, you want to add on that since I talked about it in
Yeah.
the comments?
And again, I have this ensembles pulled up, or this is a different model interpretations in one graphic. The consensus is that if nothing changes from the current run, confidence would increase that the actual parts of the Florida Peninsula may get more of these impacts from 98L. But again, as we get the track adjustments, and we can see that there's more contrast in the lines that go towards the actual Florida panhandle. We can see the peninsula and panhandle tracks are very packed together. There's just one ensemble that takes it well further out. You can see that one, and obviously I think that's the latter models or from earlier that took it further out towards places like Louisiana and everything. But I think the confidence is really increasing that Florida may see some impacts out of 98L. Obviously this is more than 5 days out, so obviously we will see some changes. And if that high pressure gets if we get plenty of low pressure systems out in this area at the low levels, or actually the mid low level altitudes and whatnot, I mean, that if that tracks in faster, I mean, that will likely affect the track of these disturbances. And I believe the one who left that comment here in Alabama, I mean, there may be some impacts around the central Gulf Coast as well, just depending on if we do get some confidence, maybe if we do see increasing confidence. I think there's more spread out. The system's more spread out in this area. So I mean, it is also possible if we get if there's only one potential window of high pressure or whatnot, I mean, the system could easily steer off and spare Florida or the rest of the Gulf of impacts. But it is still likely that this westward motion will persist for quite a while, and it's the rate of how further west it will go. I mean, just one change would bring it well into the Gulf as opposed to sparing the rest of the Gulf. So I mean, it really just comes down to just prudence. I mean, there are many different model interpretations. I believe the consensus is we're starting to see that split here at the Florida
Yeah.
Peninsula.
Okay, Chad said, can you pull up the Euro spaghetti plots from 98L? I'm not sure because
see if there is European guidance that I can pull up on this website here. But yeah, for 98L, I'm going to, I believe there's the, yeah, this is a global and hurricane model. Um, I don't see anything that's specifically European, but I believe one thing we said earlier is that Euro kind of showed us the potential of having one effect happen. What is that called again? The
Fujara effect, where the
yeah.
two merge together. And I'm going to touch on that, Chad. Don't get excited. You live in Alabama, and you live, obviously, seems like you live on the Gulf Coast of Alabama. Let me tell you something. I've seen a few things when I was on YouTube yesterday talking about the Fujara effect happening on these two storms. Let me tell you something. We don't know if the Fujara effect will happen or if these two storms or
No, we
if these
don't
two
know.
storms will merge together. All we need to know is that anybody along the Atlantic coast or along the Gulf Coast, that's the areas. Anybody along the Atlantic East Coast or along the Gulf Coast needs to be prepared for a possible impact.
For a life situation.
Possible impact. And yeah, it could be a life threatening situation because we already have another life threatening situation going on, and that's coronavirus. So
With the coronavirus.
you have to take your precautions with the social distancing and all of that while trying to evacuate, or if you're going to stay in your particular town or city or state, you need to get your stuff together. You're going to go out grocery shopping. It's going to look like a ghost town in some of the grocery stores because some of you all go out there.
Because it's going to be a mess.
Exactly.
Things destroy things.
Exactly. And I know a lot of people are already stressed and have anxiety about COVID-19. So you throw on a strong storm with that, it's just going to create chaos. More chaos, Isaac. More chaos. And JD was saying earlier that some of the, because I know Florida's under state of emergency for coronavirus. So if this storm was to hit Florida directly, it's just gonna be a mess, Isaac. Just gonna be a mess.
Yeah.
Gotta taste some stuff again.
So some people, obviously those that live closer to the coast are more vulnerable towards hurricane impacts. And there's a lot of crowds that live along, obviously some of the major cities along the coast. Whether we see impacts directly towards some of these cities, looks like the models are pretty split up here at the peninsula. Some have it west, some have it east right now, and obviously that'll change. I think a brunt of it takes it closer to the Gulf here. A lot of these different models. This is not the GMC, the GFS ensembles, I should say, or the GFS CMC ones. This is all the hurricane models.
Dad said something again.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
All right. Chad said, yes, I do. I've stayed through Ivan and Katrina, very horrible storms. I'm not surprised they were, because they were destructive storms. Now, look here, Chad. I'm not going to say that if 98 and 97L do come to the Gulf and hit New Orleans directly, I'm not going to say it's going to be another Katrina. But I've said in our previous chats ever since we've been doing Tracking the Tropics since July, back in July, in one of our episodes, I said that that we're going to have to watch this storm because Katrina's anniversary is next week. So we're going to have to watch this storm because the model yesterday was showing that the storm was going to hit New Orleans directly on Katrina's anniversary. So I knew that, and I know a lot of people still fear what happened during Katrina because there's still effects in New Orleans from Katrina to this day. So New Orleans has not fully recovered from Hurricane Katrina, which occurred in 2005. And this is going to be something that we do need to bear watching. Everyone who's watching, you continue to put your comments in, we'll respond. But this is going to be something that does need to be bear watching. And if you have any comments at this moment, you can put them in and we'll pop them up. Me or Isaac popping up, or one of us three will respond to this. So 98L is the main topic at the moment. A lot of you all are asking about 98L. It's going to hit the United States. I'm going to say this, there's a 50-50 chance of it doing that because we're still about a week away. We're still about a week away.
Yes.
And he wants.
Things could change.
Okay, so I will do that for Chad. Let me come over here to COD. He's asking about what's going to go on. So you can see this here. This is the P-type, Chad. This is just the GFS model. And I'm going to probably do simulated reflectivity. You can see all the lower pressures on here. 1016 to 1018. That's what you want to focus on. But I'm going to look at this here. And let's see what this is saying. There's New Orleans and there's parts of the Gulf Coast states. There's a possibility that this storm could develop. We'll have some rain. This model's picking up some rain before that high pressure comes back in on Saturday the 22nd. So cold front to the north. And look, there's some of those outer bands of what I'm not sure which one it would be at the moment. I'm just not sure if it's going to be Laura or Marco because we don't know which one would develop first. You have these outer bands.
That's not our decision.
Exactly, it's not our decision. I'm not the National Hurricane Center. All I can say is that there's going to be a storm in the Gulf somewhere. There's going to be a storm. I'm going to change my words. There's going to be a tropical system, possibly in the Gulf, moving possibly onto U.S. mainland. It's not going to.
Doesn't mean it will.
Exactly. Doesn't mean it will. It could just fall apart before it hits New Orleans, or it could just fall apart before it hits Houston, or it could just fall apart before it even gets to the Gulf. So we don't know what the storm is going to do. But I'm going to continue to run through this for you, Chad, so you can see some of those outer bands. This is just GFS model, and the main center of circulation of this storm will move west, and this is the storm here. All of this disorganized thunderstorm activity is from this particular storm, and you can see that the rain picks up on here, so you can't really see a well-defined center on it by the time it comes up. But that's it with that. But then you're going to have the one behind it that could possibly move in, and there it is. That's September the 1st. And this is just brand new data. So that's September 1st. We get another storm out of the Gulf that moves up onto mainland. It's a possibility. And then you got this cold front that could come through and collide with it. So it's a lot to take with a grain of salt. Just take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying go get your milk and bread now because you don't need it right now. But every day.
Yeah, you may not need it right now. It's too early.
I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna be doing Tracking the Tropics tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday, no, we'll be back next Monday, next week, every day at 3 p.m. And by the weekend, really, we'll have a better idea on what these two storms are going to do over the weekend. Whether it be 98L, 97L, whether it be Lower Marco or Nana. We're gonna watch what this could happen or what could happen here. And yeah, Katrina's anniversary is next week. But that doesn't mean we're going to get a whole nother Katrina hitting. That's some of the hype.
We don't want
that's
one.
Exactly. We don't want one of that. But
because we like doing the weather because we're geeks on here, but we do not ever want to see a bad hurricane.
Exactly.
Because all that's going to do is just tear things up and ruin lives and all that. You think so, guys?
Okay, so here's the deal. This may be someone who's spreading hype. Chad is telling us about Tropical Storm Central. First of all, the name is catchy. Pull that up, Isaac. I want the viewers to see this. The name is catchy.
1 second.
I have both of my phones here, so I'm gonna look that up, and I'm gonna see what he put on the Facebook. We could take this to all of us here. Where's the 3 thing?
And again, due to infringement policies, I am not going to show that on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Don't show it.
We're just using this as an example.
Don't show that. Take it down. Take it off. That's infringement. I forget. We're not going to show that comment because it is copyright.
Well, no, like I'm not going to show the post.
Okay, good. But we can. Yeah, we're not showing the post on the screen. We'll pop your comment of Chad. I'm gonna look it up.
But yeah, I can see what they're saying here. I'm just gonna obviously
he has quite a following.
Or wait a minute, that's from today. I'm not seeing anything that stands out or is causing hype or whatnot. But again,
Yeah, me neither.
We don't want no hype on here. That's not gonna happen, is
I
it?
can't do hype because people hype up stuff. Well, I'm seeing
Me
this. He
either.
posted the models that we were looking at yesterday. About a large because one of the models was showing a large hurricane. The GEM, remember you pulled that up, Isaac, yesterday's show. The GEM was
Mm.
showing a large hurricane down there on the Texas and Louisiana coast and moving itself on mainland, and that's what he posted. And um, that's August the 27th. There, a day after Katrina's anniversary, which is the 26th. But um, he's been keeping his eyes on it. Now, I'm not so far. I don't see him spreading as much hype as some of the others on YouTube. But we don't
You
want
don't spread hype on anywhere.
we don't want bias or hype. Just like with winter storms, a lot of people when we get ready for nor'easters, a lot of people get the spreading hype. 12 inches of snow about 3 weeks out, and you can't even
You don't
that
even
doesn't make
know.
any sense, JD.
Uh,
That just doesn't. Why?
no.
If you're looking at one, and most of them only look at one model. Same with this. I'm just taking these with a grain of salt. I'm looking at multiple different computer models. So is Isaac, and we can only take them with a grain of salt because we're about a week away
Mm-hmm.
from this. Um, a week to 2 weeks away from these storms. Most of these storms won't hit to next week. So by midweek next week, we will understand more about what these storms will do. And we have that, but then you also have in the Pacific Basin, you have Genevieve, and there was another swirl. Does that have a? I seen another swirl. Let me check on that. Real quick, I'm going to show the forecast cone for Genevieve to show you. Excuse me, where could possibly become Cat 5. So within the next 2 days, 3 o'clock, right now, that's where she is. 2 o'clock, she could, by midday Wednesday, mountain time, she could be a Cat 5 hurricane, possibly. And then HHH, she drops to about a Cat 1, and then just a tropical storm by Friday and Saturday. And then by Sunday, she'll start to dissipate. So that's
Yeah.
Genevieve
We
update.
don't know.
Yeah, we really don't. We really
Yeah,
don't.
because if anybody wants to get on here and ask us every minute, I mean, we just want to say we don't know yet. I mean, we're about 5 days away and we don't know. A week away, this thing can just go the wrong way and just miss everybody. And we should
Isaac,
be
you
good
can
with
take the
that
three
because we
box.
don't,
That is true.
like I said,
Isaac
yeah,
has up
and like I
some
said,
models. I see some models. Isaac has up some models. I'm not sure what those are.
I'm gonna pull it up.
okay, what
That's
is
the
that?
98L. This is all the hurricane models. These are track models. These are not models that depict GFS, all that stuff, the exact precip type or anything. This is just what shows the tracks of the lowest pressure or the center of the lowest pressure. So we have the HM. HWFI, AVNI, AEMI, so on and so forth. Those are models that track strong low pressure systems, and obviously what indicates where a certain index may track. And obviously the lines are closer together over here, but you can see the rate of how farther west they kind of take here. I think a lot of these models dominate further westward motion. So, I mean, that kind of gives us more confidence of United States impacts. I will call it there. But again, we still have plenty of time to kind of finalize.
Yeah, we got a bunch of time.
Likelihoods
and everything.
Right.
And like I said, make sure everybody has plenty of time to know what to do. Have a plan and action where you want to go. Like go to some family member's place in a different state. You still got a week or two to figure out what you want to do.
Isaac, you look like you're getting tired.
you would nobody needs to wait until the day it happens and until people will rescue you, because especially when we have the virus. I mean, this is just another stressful thing we do have, is because then people go into the hospital and got injured, and that could have been saved if you just had your plan in action.
Yeah, and again, we are not going to jump to any conclusions at this point.
Right.
We're not concrete guaranteeing that something will hit the United States again. We're just trying to spend some time to just address the overall concerns here with what may become of these next several systems.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I'm going to do something here real quick. Oh, well, we continue. We're on 98L. Obviously, that became the main topic since you viewers have been weighing in. So I see that a lot of you all are asking us questions about this particular system, about 98L. And you can see certain things, and you can also talk about these storms as we get closer and closer. This is kind of like how you up there in Illinois, how y'all deal with snowstorms. Same here, how we deal with ice storms. We can't just predict it in 1 week, saying, "Hey, you're gonna get 15 inches of snow," and only one model says you're gonna
don't want to be
exactly, and only one model says you're gonna get 15.
We don't want to be
right.
We don't want to be lying. That's the thing, because we want to get everything active.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody just, I mean, this thing could change. It could go the wrong way and totally miss it. It only takes several miles to you get missed. Then that's the end of it.
That's exactly right.
And by
Chad,
by Friday or Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
What did Chad say?
Chad obviously wants to be in the show in the future. So y'all, we can continue to talk. Anyway, that must be, what model is this, Isaac?
Oh, this is a compilation of several different models.
Okay.
So like the track, according to like some of these, this one is UKXI. So something like UK, obviously that's a European origin or something, or United Kingdom, whatnot. That could be inferably what these means, but I mean, I'm not an expert at like what like the specific model, like how it the tendencies of all of these, and how likely one or more of them should be followed. But again, like there is a good consensus that this system will have a gradual continued westward motion for a persistent amount of time. And again, just depending on how fast there could be a high pressure system that tracks into the area further ahead of it, it'll likely affect the track of the system overall.
Right.
Something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on.
Yeah.
Again, we're just taking this thing one at a time. And do you have anything else to address there, Jonathan, before I head off?
Let me say this. Tomorrow we'll be back at the same time. And I'm going to tell you, us three, we're the main people on here. We'll be back tomorrow, and we'll talk more about it, okay?
Yeah.
Because we have heat, we have severe weather, and then we got the coronavirus pandemic, and then you have possible tropical, some systems moving toward the U.S., which can cause damage and destruction. Just like with Isaias. Isaias was just a Cat 1 and killed people in a mobile home park. So this is something that we're going to take with grains of salt. And it's already changed quite a bit from now to 24 hours. And if you follow us on the Facebook page, I am the hurricane expert. So at when the 5 p.m., which is getting ready to come out here in just a couple of minutes, when that new advisory comes out on the two storms, I'll get them to you ASAP, as soon as possible. So we're going to continue watch this. You can pop up the satellite real quick uh,
Yeah.
there so we can see if we have any organization in those thunderstorms right now on 98L because that's what a lot of people are interacting on 98L. So, going to see if we have any of that. And then we can go back to Genevieve as well because we can give you one more look on her and see what she's doing.
There's 98L. We can see
All
how
right,
circulation
go
kind
ahead,
of
Isaac.
more well defined within there.
Yeah, if we look at the thunderstorm activity on 97L, that looks like that's had some convection growing to it. The thunderstorms have intensified on the southern part of that, and it looks like the thunderstorms are starting to get their act together over there on 98L. But then can you see that little thunderstorm activity coming out of Africa? That may be something they have to watch as we go into tomorrow, as that goes into the ocean as well. And there's enhanced thunderstorm activity in Florida, which is severe thunderstorm warnings along the first coast. You got Genevieve over there toward the west, and then you have the two storms that we're watching. 97L is looking like it's intensifying, and 98L is over there just getting organized. So uh, anyway, if you look at this stuff, okay, what we're looking at, it's it's something that we're going to keep a bare eye on here in across all of our platforms. Okay, so me, JD, have been posting a lot recently. If you've seen Isaac in the Stormwatch Facebook page about the storms,
Mhm.
and the weather services have been taking this simple and easy. And
Really
okay, let's
seriously.
do the weather roundtable. We have 4 minutes left before we hit an hour. So let's see this. We're going to do our quick roundtable thing, and we're going to have our final comments within the last few minutes we have left. 8 minutes left. So uh, we talked about all these different storms, and we had a good day. Genevieve's track. She's the only strong hurricane that we have at the moment. Back west, there's something that we have to be concerned about, and also there's something else that we'll continue to watch here over the next few days. Go ahead, JD.
We don't know when that one's going to be that. We don't know when that one's going to hit. I mean, it's going to be one of those that we don't know in a week right now. Today's only, I think, Tuesday, and we don't.
Right,
And this storm is not going to hit to next week, right?
right.
And we still don't know. So anybody who steps online and start talking about it, all that's going to do is cause a lot of stress, and we don't need it right now.
Exactly. And you can add me. There we go. I'm going to run through this and then after I run through this, us three will pop back up, have our final comments. This is just one model. Take it with a grain of salt. And it's the one that's kind of the longest that we can run through. This is August 21st. That's this Friday. There's nothing going on this Friday for you. And you can see we have clear skies for you as we do go for the next few days here. And then you got this front that's going to come through Missouri and Arkansas. I know y'all seen storms now, JD and Isaac, right? So y'all had
Yes.
scattered storms today,
Yeah.
and those scattered storms will continue. But it's all depends on where these jets and where these particular complex of storms go, because most of the models are agreeing that these storms are going to be storms, but they're going to be around the main high pressure system. Then you get this cold. There's some of the outer
Do we
bands.
have tornadoes?
That's the storm here that's going to continue to move itself toward the north. It's a possibility. I can't rule it out. And then the storm comes on shore. And this is a new model. The guy, I'm not going to announce him, and I'm not going to say his post. Me and Isaac verbally and literally on our phones looked at him. That was the same models we used on the show yesterday. And Isaac pulled them up, and yesterday on yesterday's show, we told you to take these with more than just a grain of salt because that's like that model was so far out about where it and the model is showing a large hurricane in this particular area where the GFS right now is showing whatever could be or what the remnants of it is will come on shore. And the center of it will actually be over here somewhere. This is reminding me of how Isaiah's center was not where his main thunderstorms were. It looks like the thunderstorms will be on the west side, and then the thunderstorms fall apart. And this is so sporadic on the new run. This is so sporadic here on what's going to go on because the previous run showed all of this together, and now it's all sporadic. So you see some storms here. That would be the tropical system, or what could be the tropical system. But then the tropical system just splits. Storms up here, storms down here, storms everywhere. So it all depends on where this would particularly go over the next few days. We have at least 5 days. We're at least 5 to 6 days out from this. I would say 7, because most of these models think it'll be here by Monday. So we're about 5, 6 days out from this particular storm system, and then there will be the second one that we'll have to watch into as we go into September here that could develop there. You can see it clearly, the spin on it. Here, again, me and Isaac and JD have been telling you to take it with a grain of salt. Now we have 4 minutes left.
Yes.
Let's do the 3 box, and let's go ahead and have our final comments on the tropics here, all 3 of us, and then we'll be back tomorrow around the same time here. Anyway, my final thing is we got coronavirus, we got chances of tropical systems. Just go ahead and plan.
Pretty high,
have your safety plan. Isaac.
Yeah, so I'm going to just kind of address that. Obviously, this is going to be a busy week in terms of like new developments. Like we're going to see some major changes to obviously the forecast, and we're just trying to make inferences. That's what we're doing here. Just inferring what.
We're not trying to scare nobody.
What? Yeah. So like we're, that's kind of how we're sharing forecast interpretations with the general publics, and again, we want to make sure that everyone has the amount of time to prepare. This is your time. Again, now is the time to be prepared. If you are in interests along the East Coast, Gulf of Mexico, we want to make sure that in case there's anything that changes, we want to be very mindful of such. And again,
you don't want to be in a mobile home.
Yeah, and again, it's particularly dangerous, especially obviously if now you're not just close to the coast, but like if you're in a major population center. We want to be mindful of that as well. So like so like there could be increase of spreading coronavirus around the community as well, just depending on where you may be. So you want to be paying attention and just playing it safe. If local officials do declare a state of emergency, that should be your cue to pay attention to recommendations, advice from local officials, and whatnot. And also be prepared for in case there are evacuation orders. We can't rule that out this far in advance, but we can say that impacts from either tropical system are likely, whether it could be a landfall or it could be just tropical moisture coming ashore. It really just depends. We'll keep a very close eye on it. But again, we're at the point where we're likely seeing critical new development. We're already seeing a kind of a likelihood where we may see some impacts, especially on the eastern side of the Gulf Coast, maybe into the Atlantic sections of the Florida Peninsula with 98L. And just pending how that does hold together. But the rate of it increase, it holds together for a while. With that holds together with that westward motion. So it's likely that this system will be mature for some time, or we'll see some new developments that'll be steady to come around over the coming days. We will have to continue to be mindful of those, and that's another reason why we're continuing to discuss this by means of this StreamYard software or by tracking the tropics, we will continue to convey important information as we get it. And you can stay tuned to all of our pages, Illinois Stormwatch, USA Stormwatch, anywhere where we're streaming now. You can expect us to be back tomorrow with additional information, or if you do have any people that may
There we go.
impact you,
I found them.
you may want to give them a shout out or a tag or just share. We just want to make sure that everyone has that layer of awareness.
Just say, I want to say that people do not need to be in mobile homes in this type of event. This is the time you want to probably think about, maybe when the storm gets closer, is trying to find another way to go somewhere, because a mobile homes can get teared up, right, Jonathan?
That is exactly right. And if you can pop me up, I'm gonna say this.
All right.
Here we are.
Hey, pop you up here.
Here's the thing. We've been doing tracking the tropics for about, let's see, almost a month now, and we've been trying to keep all of you up to date on what is going on in terms of with the tropics. Past 2 weeks, tropics has been quiet, but now we're getting the concern of this starting to come and
it's ramping up
and starting to hit some areas. So I'm just gonna be honest with everyone. Continue to take everything with a grain of salt. We'll be back here tomorrow, same time. We started a bit early today so we can get our hour in, but we're over an hour now. But today we went over an hour because you, the viewers, actually, thank you, viewers, for coming in and telling us what you need. And yeah, some of you are also want to be on the show. I'll coordinate that with Isaac, and because we don't want to overload our stream system here, because we already have enough technical difficulties as is. So we'll be back tomorrow. Chad, I'll try to talk to Isaac to see if I can get you in the show tomorrow. Everyone else, thanks for watching. We're going to stick around a little